Jimmy Z Show.
I want to yammer just a little bit about Phil Robertson, Duck Dynasty, and A&E and all this crap. There are people who have put together, I've got a Facebook page here for the National Chick-fil-A Day. This is some kind of support Phil Robertson Day, where you go to Chick-fil-A and you eat a sandwich in his honor, and you wear your Duck Commander crap. Now again, I have nothing against Phil Robertson. I have nothing against the Duck Dynasty television show. I completely agree with what Phil Robertson said that subsequently got him into trouble with A&E and the Disney company that is very pro-gay. But I want to make this perfectly clear, and I'm going to batch everything together in the show notes, and anything that I have left on Phil Robertson and Duck Dynasty and all this is going to be over today on the Jimmy Z Show, because I'm done. This obsession with Phil Robertson is completely out of whack. I talked before about what's going on in Utah. You've got judges and courts and the LGBT community going after Utah. It's a bloodbath. Morally speaking, it's a bloodbath. And nobody cares about it. Nobody's writing about it. Michelle Malkin keeps talking about Phil Robertson and the Arts and Entertainment Channel and homosexual marriage, and Phil Robertson paid the price. I haven't seen Michelle Malkin mention once what has happened in Utah. The good people in Utah had laws in their states that made polygamy illegal and made traditional marriage the norm. That marriage was defined as being between a man and a woman, and both have been thrown out by the courts. That is much more troubling than what has happened to Phil Robertson. That he spoke his mind, and the company that employs him didn't like it and fired him from the show. Meanwhile, the Duck Dynasty show is still running on A&E, sometimes in marathons overnight. We talked about that. Michelle Malkin did write about that Duck Dynasty is running on many days during the holidays from 4 in the afternoon until 4 the next morning. You've been had. Duck Dynasty is still on the air. Phil Robertson is still on Duck Dynasty. He's still there with his family on A&E. Every day, every episode, Phil Robertson is there. They've got the next season already complete, already in the can, as we say in Hollywood. It begins broadcasting in January. Phil Robertson is already there. And that's going to run for 12 weeks, I believe. Phil Robertson is already there. He's already in it. And that season is not being canceled by A&E. And Phil Robertson is being paid. He's a very wealthy man, both from his, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being wealthy. I'm proud of his family. They've done very well for themselves, but he's wealthy. He's making money from the Duck Commander Company. He's making money from the reality television show. And he is not hurting. They have not taken him out of any of the programs that have been completed and continue to air on A&E. So I've got to ask, why are you conservatives, and I am a conservative, but I'm really concerned about this. Why are you people on Facebook so wound up about this, that you're going to have a free speech support Phil Robertson Day on January 21st, and I'm not reading a peep about what has happened in Utah? Utah is real. Phil Robertson is a guy on TV. Yes, his family is real, but he was not censored by the government. He was not told that you will embrace homosexual marriage by the federal government. But Utah was. The people of Utah have been. The courts are forcing Utah, the people of Utah, who voted to define marriage as being between one man and one woman, they're now being forced to allow the depravity of polygamy and homosexual marriage in their state by the government. And conservatives on the internet only care about Phil Robertson and Duck Dynasty because it's media, because it's television. There's no television show about the good people of Utah. There is only the polygamy shows, like Sister Wives and whatever the new one's going to be called. I think conservatives are just as susceptible to being seduced by the media as liberals are. Phil Robertson is going to be fine. He was not censored by the government. His employer didn't like what he said, and he was let go. It's that simple. And the employer has a right to get rid of somebody that they don't agree with. And I'm not saying that he should have been fired. I think it's a terrible thing that the company, Disney, is so pro-gay. ABC Television is so pro-gay. But they are. What if Disney came along or ABC Television came along and said, hey, we want to put the Jimmy Z Show on television? Well, I would know right off the bat that I'm not going to be doing a lot of shows about the definition of marriage being between one man and one woman. Not if I'm working for ABC Television and Disney. So that's all I'm going to say about this. But Phil Robertson does not need your support. I mean, it's fine to say, I support Phil Robertson. I agree with what he said. But Phil Robertson is going to be fine. They're probably going to quietly bring him back when they get ready. If the next season, which begins in January, is going to be as huge as I think it is, because I think it is. I mean, because of all the hubbub, a lot of people are going to be watching Duck Dynasty beginning in January. And you're going to see A&E Television promoting it like crazy. So a lot of people are going to be watching the ratings, which were already high, the most successful show on cable television in history. And it's going to be even bigger. You think A&E is going to cancel it after the next season? No way. They're going to quietly work out a deal with the family and bring Phil Robertson back. No one's going to apologize for what Phil Robertson said, and that will be that.
The Jimmy Z